back to the end of another week. It's Sunday, the 25th, and it's Mother's Day here in France. So we had his mom over for tagine, which we made last night and then served today. I've never had it. It was actually pretty good. Francis and I have been fighting wasps in the carport. So I'll throw in a picture of that. But up here, we have signs of life. So this is my chayote. And interestingly, like, it's definitely growing. It's very bushy, but it's quite small. And my mashua has started to come up. So we have all these things. But yeah, so we have some mashua that came up there. We have some coming up here, and I planted some other ones, which might be like down in there somewhere. But anyway, they're coming up. These are basically tuberous nasturtiums. So they have roots you can eat, and then these leaves hopefully will start climbing up the obelisks there. The chickens are very much enjoying their space. I got new lights, solar lights for the top, because my other ones stopped working. And so I replaced them. And I think the other one, the solar panel, wasn't working, because these seem to be working just fine. But we're getting 3 eggs a day consistently now, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, chickens are in there. Whoops. Doing their chicken thing. So they're having a lot of fun, and I do notice that they hang out way up there unless it's later in the day. So I do think they need more shade, and we're gonna try to work on that. But I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do. Strawberries. These summer breeze strawberries haven't really started fruiting. They flowered, but no fruit. But here we're getting quite a few strawberries. I didn't net it. Last year I was saying I was going to net it, and then I never did. So the birds come and they eat strawberries, but you can definitely see that we have quite a bit. And while I'm over here, I'll show you the freshly done field. They were actually out today doing the field. So this is after, and it looks amazing. I'll show you a before picture. But yeah, the farmer guy was out here, I believe, with his young adult daughter. And then later, actually, what I think, because I didn't talk to them, what I think was his wife and maybe his other daughter showed up, and they kind of toured the field as well. So I think I mentioned before that they recently bought that field. So this is their first year working out there, but it looks great. And I don't have any complaints yet. The one thing that I'm kind of watching is whether or not they're actually planting super close. But if you look here, you can see that they left this ditch, which I think they did for drainage. I'm not sure. But obviously I don't think they're going to be planting in there. So they did mow it. And then they did what they needed to do with regard to like a very, very deep till. And now I think they've probably drilled it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go over there. I'm going to assume they planted it, because everything's very like in lines and pretty looking. But I mean, obviously they did not drill down the little gap there. So that's all good. In my garden, my fava beans are looking amazing. We're going to have so many fava beans, which is great. Interestingly, they had issues with aphids, and I didn't do anything because I tend to just kind of let things do their thing. But I'm not seeing too many aphids, so they're probably still there and just hiding really well. But the plants themselves look great. And then I have like volunteer tomato. The nasturtiums that are popping up are volunteer, so there's a large one there and a little one there. My cabbages are starting to look good. I put these stupid little fake butterflies because I read that sometimes they can deter the cabbage moth butterfly, which is also white, and apparently they're super territorial and aggressive. So allegedly, if you put these butterflies up, then the real butterflies don't come. But I'm not sure if I believe that. They're kind of cute having little butterflies, so I don't mind having them. And I did notice the moths, the cabbage moths. So that's why I put them out, because I'm just kind of watching to see. But I wanted to come over here and show you my cabbage. Actually, I'll take you inside the net because there is still some damage. Like you can see something is eating. But yeah, if I try to take you in here, look, I have a cabbage head. So exciting. I mean, there is a little like, there are some spots in there that are being eaten, but nowhere near last year. Like last year, I didn't even bother trying to harvest my cabbage because they were so bad. So yeah, and like that one, I mean, basically this one and this one are definitely like pretty much ready to harvest. I could probably cut those out. This one here is still kind of hiding in there, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's forming a head or if it's just like not. But this one looks like it's starting to form a head. This one and that one were smaller plants, and these were my three largest. That one there being the largest, but its head doesn't look as tight. So I'm not sure. But here's my bolted Brussels sprout. So we did not get any Brussels sprouts from that one, which is fine. Like, I don't necessarily mind. I can come in here actually and like eat all these kind of exploded sprouts, and I can eat the leaves and stuff, but ultimately we're actually giving this to the chickens and they adore it. So that's fine. Like if I can feed it to myself, that's awesome. And if I can give it to the chickens, like that's fine too. So yeah, we have some nasturtium flowers coming in. The garlic I've given up on. It's like died. The rust was just too much this year. I'm leaving it in the ground to see what happens. I did pull up some, which are immature, and we're just going to try to preserve them as green garlic. They basically didn't really form bulbs, so I'm not going to be able to keep them, like I'm not going to be able to cure them and keep them the way you would normally keep garlic, but we're still going to try to dry them and make garlic powder and chop them up and make garlic, like diced garlic to freeze, and continue using them. But it didn't really work out as well as last year. I have my beans, green beans, sweet peas, more green beans. I tried doing the succession thing, so like those are more mature, and then I planted this little section, and then I planted that little section, and then I just planted out that little section. And my idea is that maybe when these beans come in, then I can plant more. But I've also been filling in the gaps with beans. So like here you can see that quite a few of the beans didn't really pop up. So I've been like sticking sticking new beans into the gap. So we'll have beans. And over here I started to plant peas, shelling peas, which I haven't grown before. So I'm not sure exactly how that works. I only know that they grow pretty like small and you have to like pick out each little pea pod. So I might be regretting planting those, but my idea is that, again, I started here and I'll kind of like succession plant down that way of the little pea pods. Yeah, peas, little peas. But yeah, there's a big nasturtium there, which I might leave. I might pull it up. It kind of depends on how it grows. And yeah, and then there's the fruit bed, which doesn't have much going on, except for I did plant some onions in here. So I had some seed onions over there, and then I went ahead and transplanted them over here. So we got some onions in here. We have the tomatoes, the basil, the pepper. We have some eggplants. I'm actually still waiting. It's not as full down there because I have more plants that are supposed to be coming in, except for they haven't been shipped in 2 weeks and the seller isn't responding to me. So I'm not sure what's up with that. My radishes are going crazy. This is from, I may or may not have mentioned that I had seed packets that mice got into. So they left all the seeds on the bottom and I tried to separate them and then I ended up just giving up. So I just like threw them out here and the only ones that popped up really were radishes. So yeah, we have a lot of radishes. I did plant carrots like in this middle section a little while ago, but I have a hard time germinating carrots. So I'm not even sure if they're going to grow. And then I tried putting some lettuce over there this week. So we'll see in a couple of weeks if that goes anywhere. My thornless blackberry is looking good. So it's sending out some new canes down here. That's also a thornless blackberry. And these are my other onions because, again, like those onions I grew from sets. I planted from sets in the autumn and they bolted. So I'm not expecting much there. And I'm probably going to do the same thing where I like turn them into something to like try to salvage them because I can't feed those to the chickens. And then these are the same sets that I planted in the spring just to see what would happen. And then the seeds that I planted were in here. So I've taken some of them and I've transplanted them over there. And then the rest I've just kind of thinned out over here. And I've been told that growing onions from seed is actually easier than growing onions from sets. So we'll see what happens there. But over here we have my shallots. So we have more spring shallots. And yeah, and just miscellaneous things. That's my oregano. So I really need to give him a haircut and like dry him or give some to the chickens or whatever. The mint, we have been harvesting. We've been using the mint a lot in cooking. So today we made the tagine, which had a mint tea for dessert. And we've also been using it for a bunch of other like more ethnic meals that we've been experimenting with. So that's been cool. And I've been using it to dry to make infusions for myself, which I finally started trying, and they're all really good. So I'm excited about that. I think we have a tractor. There's our tractor. Yeah. So that's my update for this week. Again, it's basically garden stuff. Today was Mother's Day, so we celebrated that. Things to come. We got the quote for the driveway, so I think we're gonna go with it. It's kind of expensive, but everything like labor is expensive. So I think we're gonna go with that. I'm hoping Francis will mow the lawn. I'm kind of glad he didn't, because they did a lot of work on the hedgerow side, and that's where like we have a snake. We have a couple of snakes, I'm sure. But they live in the hedge, and so I think they got disturbed because I've been hearing them when I've been like in the grass and stuff. And I actually saw one. I saw one sunbathing over there by the other thing. And like in California, we have the little like garter snakes that I remember my dad like accidentally mowing over, and then we would like let them recover and put them out in the yard. Like the snakes here apparently are called like, I don't know, if Francis reminds me of the name, I'll put them on. They're like kulum or something, but they're giant. But apparently they have no fangs, so if they bite you, they don't like bite. They're not venomous, but they can bite. But they're huge. So the one that I saw over there, I didn't get a picture of him, but he was like 3 feet long, 4 feet long, and like this big around. So they're large snakes, and when you get close to them, they actually sound like a rattlesnake. When I first heard him, I thought I was dealing with a rattlesnake, and I was freaking out. Not a rattlesnake. Apparently they actually make that sound from their throat somehow. So, and it's basically them saying, "Hey, I'm here," but they're not aggressive or anything. So basically when I hear it, I can kind of stop or like stomp around, and they'll scurry off. But I digress. We have snakes. The snakes have been living here. Now that the hedgerow area has, what I think has been planted, we can go ahead and mow this area, and hopefully they'll kind of move back into the little, what's left of the hedgerow, because I'm sure on the other side, the guy has also, gotten pretty close to the edge. So, but anyway, that is it for this week. I'll go ahead and come up here and see if I can leave you with the chickens sometimes. Oh, and we're getting 3 eggs. But yeah, they're like little dogs. Like I come and they're like, "You got food?" But yeah, things to come. I think I'm going to be clearing out this space. I've been moving this pile from like spot to spot to give them worms, but at this point, like, there's no grass. That was their grassy corner, and then we ran out of grass to give them. So now it's just a pile of dirt. But there are still worms in there, so I kind of push it around and they get dirt. So I'll probably try to clean that up. Otherwise, it's just like doing things. I'm trying to like clean up down here. What if we do move forward with the driveway, we'll also include concreting down there, which means that I'll have to clear out this whole area to prep for that. And then actually, if I zoom in here, they're doing the other field. So yeah, by next week, that field will be done as well. Anyway, I hope you had a good one. I had a good one. I will see you next week. Bye.